about today. When I got into auditing about 20 years ago. It was totally different from what it is today. Auditing then was very manual. So we were listening manually. It's paper-based. Then you move to system-based, but the systems don't talk to each other. I remember when I came to Ghana to do a piece of work in Takwa, you go to Goldfields, do the work, and then drive all the way to Accra after 1 week just to replicate on a server so that the work can be seen by those in the office. We have fast-tracked and moved forward. Auditing through technology has moved forward. And today we rely on a lot of tools and a lot of tools and AI-generated apps to be able to do the audits, which we will be touching on briefly. Let me get on by saying that we have a chief AI officer in the person of Dan Priest, who is our PwC Global Chief AI Officer. And I have shared a simple quote from him for you to see what's happening. From Dan, he says, top performing companies will move from chasing AI use cases to using AI to fulfill business strategy. Let me go over it. It's a very deep statement. He said top performing companies will move from chasing AI use cases to using AI to fulfill business strategy. One will ask, what is Dan talking about? Basically, what he's saying is that the business world is going to be revolutionized through AI, and auditing is going to change through AI. Currently, AI is being used on ad hoc basis, on a trial basis. It's not structured. It's purely on tactical basis. So you want some information, you go to chat, GPT, search for it, get that information, and then you use it for what you want to use. Someone is working, they need a bit of information, they get into the system, pick a bit of information, and then use it for what they want to do. So that's a fragmented way of using AI. What Dan is saying that in the future, this will change to fulfilling business strategy, meaning, and strategy, as you all know, is literally gathering resources and building energy to achieve a given objective. So what he's saying is AI is going to be part of the resources you need to gather to build that energy to achieve a given objective. So AI is now not going to be a case of let's try this and see, but it's going to be integral to every business strategy to be able or to enable companies to excel in whatever they do. And I thought I should share this with you because this resonates a lot in what we will be talking throughout this afternoon. Without AI, we wouldn't get far in our audit profession because we are faced with so many challenges. And it's important that we are able to revolutionize. We all know, like I said earlier on, that we started this audit. I started with a very paper-based audit, with a very mechanical audit. But things have moved on. And in as much as we have been able to use technology now to do audits, it's not where it's supposed to be. The profession still faces some challenges, which I thought I should share with you and give you a bit of insight into some of the challenges that the current audit profession is facing. To start with, we have come very far, but where we are today and what has brought us to where we are, I can assure you will never get us to where the world is moving to. Hence, there is the need to change. And these are some of the current issues that is facing the profession. One, auditing today is heavily reliant on manual interventions. What do I mean by that? Systems don't talk to each other. You go to an organization and you realize that the payroll department is using one software, procurement is using another one, finance is holding another one, technical and business planning is using another software. They don't talk to each other. And therefore, it makes it very mechanical to audit all these systems. So it's a big challenge that AI is seeking to resolve, and I'll share with you some of what is being done to resolve. The second challenge is data is not connected, reused, or consistently structured. Currently, most organizations don't have their data connected. Just like the example I mentioned earlier on, data sitting in various departments are stuck there, and therefore the same data is not being able to be used across the organization. Even in instances where they could have been used, they are not consistently structured. So, when you are using AI, your data must be cleaned and consistently structured to be able to generate meanings out of them. But they are not. And so you consistently collecting data. Sometimes you have the same data, but the way it has been collated or collected doesn't permit its use for other purposes. And this is another challenge that a lot of companies are facing, and therefore the audit profession is facing. If you go out for an audit and the client's data is not talking to each other, you cannot use one data from one department in the other, or they are not well structured to be used across, then you can imagine the cost of the audit itself and the time it will take to execute. There is also a concern where methodology is not always applied consistently. Here, we are talking about how methodology is used. We all know that we have various accounting standards, various auditing standards, and the audit guide itself, which guides the work that is being done. The challenge is, even though there are consistent methodologies, the application of those depends on the person applying it. So you have two people performing a task, but there are variances in the conclusion that they reach sometimes. And when information is not consistently applied, or methodology is applied, but the outcomes are not consistent, then credibility is lost. So people begin to lose credibility in the process, because today one person comes and tell you this, reading the same methodology but applying different meaning to it. And this is one thing AI is seeking to resolve. The other challenge is audit-related insights are not generated consistently at scale. What we mean is that with the help of AI, we are able to scale through large volume of data. So you're able to analyze so many things within a short space of time, and therefore get better insights to guide and advise organizations. But where you have data fragmented, things are not working together as it is now, then the profession struggles. And there is also lack of transparency and communication, which is also another challenge the profession is facing. If maybe some of you have work experience because you're MBA students, I can assure you that in your organization, you don't communicate through one medium. You have so many means by which you communicate. And that is a similar problem the audit is going through. We have various channels of communicating. We have emails, we have phone calls, we have telephone, conferences, we have softwares we use to communicate. So there are so many channels of communication that our clients, and therefore does not enhance the message you seek to send across. And we are using AI to solve that problem as well. So these are some of the current concerns that are being faced in the audit space. But having said this, I think I would like to take you through what the global trend is when people look at auditing, so that it gives you a bigger perspective and not just what the audit profession alone is looking at, but globally what the trend is looking like. So globally, stakeholders are looking for two key things. They are looking for quality and value. It's very important. And I tell people that organizations don't exist to make profit. And they ask me why. And I say, organizations exist to create value. And profit is a byproduct of value creation. When you create value, then you can make profit. But if you seek out for profit, you won't get anywhere. So globally, everybody is looking for quality and value. And the drive to achieve these two key things has driven four global mega trends that affect our profession and a number of professions. The first one is integrated reporting. Stakeholders don't know, they don't care about financial numbers again. In as much as it's important to them, they want to understand the business through financial and non-financial performance. Most of you on this call today want to work with organizations that are responsible, not just organizations that make profit. The game has changed from where we graduate and our objective is to just jump into any organization. You want to work for companies that take care of their people, take care of the environment, makes positive impact in society, pay their taxes. So we look out for all these things, and this is where stakeholders are looking at now. And to be able to do that, you need to provide integrated reporting, which is one big trend emerging. And very soon, I am doing integrated reporting already for some of my US listed clients, and it's catching up very quickly. One other big trend that is emerged from driving these two objectives is increased stakeholder and regulatory expectations. There is constant increase in what is expected of auditors. We know of all the collapse, the crises that have happened globally that auditors didn't look at things carefully. And on the back of that, there's a lot of scrutiny, and the standard by which we do our work keeps going up every day. You are required to do so many things that we weren't doing before just because of the expectation on auditors to be able to give the kind of confidence that stakeholders are looking at. Then AI first audit. AI is seen as a means to enhance the quality of the audit and drive productivity. Through AI, you can do a lot of the repetitive work so that you can focus on key and strategic areas. And that is one trend that is emerged globally, where people are looking for auditors or people are looking at auditors that will be using AI to drive their business and give them the required insight, whilst at the same time having enough time to pay attention to the risky areas of their organization. And then the final trend is expertise and judgment. There is the need for expertise and judgment now than ever before because we are operating in a very, very, very complex world. And given the complexity in which we are operating now and the use of AI, a lot of the basic work that human being does or are doing is going away. And therefore, it is expected that we would develop the necessary legal, operational, and financial knowledge and expertise to advise clients when the need arises. So there is pressure on us to develop strong expertise. And this is where people like you come into the play. Knowing these things now, you ask yourself, what do I need to do to be able to go out there ready for the trends that are coming up? It is important that we leave school having in mind that stakeholders have certain expectations of us when we join any company. And we need to arm ourselves in a way that we can fulfill some or all of those expectations. Some of the key expectations stakeholders want to see from their auditors are what I have outlined below. I know you are going out not as auditors. Some may enter into practicing firms, some may not. But wherever you find yourself, you are either working on management side or on the auditors or consultant side. So this applies to you. So stakeholders are saying that they want their auditors to understand their business and incorporate that knowledge into the audit. Back to the value I was talking about. What they don't want is auditors to come and spend time onboarding new team members or to undertake a number of costly manual research. Stakeholders are not interested in that. That means to be able to do that, we must enhance the scoping and risk assessment of audits, enrich conversations with audit-related insights and benchmarking. I don't know if Prof has taken you through auditing as part of your course, but auditing is a top-down approach. You start with your risk assessment, then you end with completion. You start with your risk assessment, which then leads you to scoping the audit in terms of what you need to look at and what you need to forget about. It's risk-driven and materiality guided. What stakeholders are asking is that they want enhanced scoping. So they don't want you to come to their companies and decide to audit everything because you don't understand their business. And AI should be able to help you understand their business better so that you do your scoping well and risk assessment in a way that will help you address the key risks in that organization. Stakeholders are saying that they want you to make good use of their time and resources. This is what I'm talking about, which is productivity. They need you to make very good use of their time and resources. That means they want faster injection and structuring of data, dynamic workflows, and timely and critical analysis. These are what stakeholders are looking for. They are not interested in manual request. You come and say, give me your trial balance. You are expecting a paper trial balance. Then you ask for files and all those sort of things. They've moved on. Stakeholders don't want that. They don't want surprises and administrative burden. When things are not structured, they are always bound to be last-minute surprise, and that's what they don't want. Finally, they want auditors to perform the right work in the right area and at the right time. And that's the quality they are seeking to drive. And so they believe that to be able to do that, they expect that you drive most of the audit through the use of data and early risk identification. A lot of the processes should be automated to be able to analyze and detect errors and trends very fast. They are not interested in one-size-fits-all audit, and they are not interested in manual sampling and documentation. Most of the audit tools available now are one-size-fits-all audit. There are tools designed through the audit guide and the standard that tells you pick this, check to that, compare to this and that, then you come to a conclusion. Most of the audit tools we have now, that's how they are designed. And that's what clients don't want to, which means we need to evolve. We need to move on and be able to do something different. So these are some of the things that we are hearing and the expectations our clients are telling us that I thought you should know as well, so that informing your expectation of the world out there, you are guided by these basic principles or expectations of professionals. In Ghana, we do a lot of research. Globally, we also do a lot of research as PwC. So as part of this presentation, I thought I should share two of our research with you so that you see and relate what is happening in the AI space in Ghana and what globally people are thinking in the AI space based on research that we did. So in Ghana, in 2025, we did a banking survey to provide insight into how AI is being used within the financial services industry. We surveyed chief executives who oversee digital transformation, operational efficiency, customer experience, and a whole lot of others to understand how they are using AI and whether it is helping them in growing the business, making more money, or enhancing customer satisfaction. Based on the survey, these are the outcome, a summary of some of the outcomes, which I thought I should share with you. 68% of Ghanaian CEOs reported some level of AI adoption in their organization. 68%. This was the 2025 survey we did early this year. I don't know if you are coming out of school finally now or next year, but the number keeps going up. If 68% of CEOs are saying that they are using some AI today, then you must come out prepared to use AI. Otherwise, you'll be irrelevant. In the past, when you come out of school, you start from the bottom and you are taught and you learn the basic things. I know a lot of graduates, when they come, we give them the basic work, very basic work to do, bank reconciliations, and even that they struggle. Casting, proofreading documents, reading board minutes, and summarizing it. Today, all those jobs are gone. We use Harvey. We have a legal AI agent that reads all our contracts for us and summarize it for us. We have a number of tools that read all board minutes and summarize and pull all the salient points for us. We don't cast financial statements again. We have a tool that does the casting, cross-referencing, checking, and everything. So you ask yourself, if this is what we are still coming out of school to do, then before you step in the workplace, you are outdated. All those things have gone. So now we are looking for graduates who can fit in the middle of the hierarchy, not the very basic things. We want graduates who can go 3 steps below the basic level and use these tools to do what they should have done at that level. It enhances your career because it enables you to rise faster, because technically you've cut 3 or 4 levels you should have gone through. But you wouldn't be able to survive if you are not well equipped. And so it's important that you start learning the tools you need to know before you get out. 47% indicated that Gen AI has contributed to revenue growth. And if you look at this bar chart I've shown here, if I have to take you through it, the first one is saying that this talks about 2024 expected increase, and this talks about actual increase. So the question that this seeks to address is efficiencies in my employment time at work. Has AI helped improve the efficiency in your employment time at work? And you can see it's gone up by 75%, which means people feel AI is really helping them. It helped them, employees' time at work. It helps them at their own time at work. And it also has reduced headcount and rediverted them into other areas of the business. The only area that hasn't seen significant increment through the use of AI is revenue, which stood at 47%. But that's understandable because once you start using AI, your customer satisfaction goes up and revenue begins to go up. So we are intending to do this survey again in 2026 for the 2025 financial year to see how the impact of this AI and the customer satisfaction they are saying they see has resulted in increase in revenue. So already we are seeing AI in the use a lot in Ghana, and this is just the banking sector. This is the customer satisfaction I was talking about. 20% believe that it has boosted their customer satisfaction. And so we are expecting this to translate into increased revenue when we do the next survey. Globally, PwC went out in 2024 to survey 24,600 workers from 29 sectors and in 27 countries. Okay, we did this global survey in 2024. And through that survey, we identified that there are some major gaps in the market that needs to be filled. Okay, major gaps in the market that needs to be filled. This slide I feel is very important to you because once I have spoken to you about the challenge the profession is facing, I've told you about the 4 mega trends, what stakeholders are looking at that is shaping the trend of what's happening globally. I've shared some insights with you in terms of some surveys we've done. And now I'm trying to get you to understand the gaps in the market that you need to equip yourself to bridge when you get out of school. So take this very, very religiously. And if you can bridge this gap on this slide, I can assure you when you get out of school, you will be flying. Through the survey of 24,600 workers, what was evident is that people are resistant to change. MBA students, finance is a very structured course. So when you do it for a very long time, you become very structured, organized, and you resist change. The world is now open to those who want to try new things, who are daring, who want to innovate. And therefore, if you want to really do well when you get out of school, you must be flexible. You must have an open mind, and you must be willing to change. Resistance to change will not get you anywhere in this dynamic world. So that is the first thing they realize, that people are resisting to change and therefore they are struggling to use AI. The second thing we identified is that there is very limited digital fluency. Many people, including auditors, lack automation and tech integration skills. And I'll explain this to you. You need to improve on your digital literacy. I know a lot of people. I was in one organization the other day, finance department, and I saw someone with advanced Excel certificates hung behind him. I can tell you that guy cannot cast in Excel. So don't just learn and get certificates for the purpose. Make sure you understand what you are doing and you can really, really get things done. What we mean by digital literacy is being able to use data, being able to understand data. All that AI does is using a lot of data. So the volume of data has increased significantly through the use of AI in the work we do. Your ability to understand data, direct the data so that the system can generate meaningful insights and trends for you is what we mean by digital fluency. So it's important to be able to understand data. And to be able to do that, you must start practicing now. Start using Excel, PowerPoint, Power BI, Alteryx. Those basic tools are those tools that when you get a hangover, you will be able to overcome the challenge of the digital fluency. The insufficient AI literacy. There is the need to interpret and validate AI outputs responsibly. That's also another challenge. Critical thinking. This has to do with critical thinking from the survey. You need to know what you want. You are faced with so many data, and when you have put the data into it, you should be able to think through the outcome that it brings. I know in most business school, we do, is it GMATs before we go, a lot of critical thinking, nonverbal reasoning and all that. It's a way to help you in your critical analysis. And you need to be able to develop a lot of critical thinking to be able to handle this when you're out of school. Weak data analytics, I wouldn't take you through everything. Then one other key gap identified, which I thought you should know, is ERP and cloud knowledge gaps. ERP and cloud knowledge gaps. A lot of people are not familiar with cloud assurance and ERP systems. And you know, today, all organizations are going into the cloud, and therefore SAP and Oracle are the big players in the market now in terms of the cloud space. Now, the challenge is AI uses a chain of data, and most of those data is held in the cloud. So you need knowledge of how to navigate those data and not be afraid of things that are held in the cloud in analyzing those data to be able to overcome. So it's important. And I'm saying this because even within some organizations we go, we see that they have migrated to, say, Microsoft, and therefore they are using OneDrive to hold all the information they are using internally. But you go to people and still things are still held on their local drive because they are not comfortable migrating or working from OneDrive. These are skills you must start getting before you get out of school. I don't know if your school gives you Microsoft. My school gives us free Microsoft for life. And so you get to use a lot of these things before you get out of school. But even if the school is not giving you, once you have a laptop, I'm sure you'll be able to buy those things and start getting a hang over them before you get out of school. So these are a few. The other one is strategic thinking and cybersecurity and ethical AI awareness. Maybe I'll touch on this before I go to the next slide. Cybersecurity and ethical AI awareness. Because of the volume of data that we use when we are working with AI, we are also required to handle it very well so that we don't breach ethical rules. It is important that you start thinking along those lines early before you get yourself into trouble, because if you open one floodgate, there's a lot of things that can come through and create problem for you. And I just mentioned to you that it's so bad that even Zoom is not permitted in my organization. You cannot have a meeting on a work laptop through Zoom because we've closed so many doors because of the volume of information and data we are handling. So if you find a way to break a code and go on a Zoom call, then you've opened a gate, and that could create a lot of problem for you and your organization. So it's important you are aware of these basic things. So this is what is happening. This is the gap in the market. These are the challenges that the audit profession is facing that we need to overcome. When I started, I mentioned how we have evolved over time as PwC. And we continue to evolve. We continue to innovate, come up with new ideas of doing our work. As at today, we have a stack of applications and tools and technologies that we use to deliver the audit. So now I'll delve into a bit more detail with you to share some of the tools we are using to undertake audits and how AI is helping us do our work now. So in PwC, we have various tools, like I said. We have data analytics and visualization tools. And we have a lot of other tools which I'll talk about. I've just highlighted 6 of those tools here, which I thought I should share with you. The first one is Auditing. I know that is a common tool, Auditing and Power BI. A lot of people use it now. So it's something which is not too distinctive, but we have exclusive rights in some of their apps, and therefore we use this a lot in doing our work in terms of analyzing data and visualizing, reporting, presenting reports in a way that clients will understand, in a way that people who don't have financial background will still appreciate and understand and make meaning of it. We also use data snipper. I know some people are familiar with that. Data snipper, we use it to do a lot of the casting work we do. It will tell you if there is even a comma missing somewhere or a number doesn't add up. We use it to check invoicing, bank statement. We use it a lot in the audit. So these are some of the data analytics tools we use. Then we have Aura. Aura is exclusive to PwC. Nobody in the world uses Aura. It is the tool that all the audit work done in PwC globally is held on. So every client we have and every work we do is done in Aura. And it's an amazing tool. It's an end-to-end software. It has so many AI agents attached to it. And I'll take you through some of the agents. And therefore, it makes the work much, much easier and faster than what a lot of other people or a lot of other organizations are able to do. We have Workiva. Workiva is our internal audit tool. So any client that we do internal audit for, we use Workiva. It's also an end-to-end. It helps connect the working papers to findings and final reports without any manual intervention or minimal manual intervention. And therefore, it's very, very good. We've received a lot of comments around Workiva as well. Then we have Halo. Halo is also a PwC tool. We use it to test journals. Given the volume of work that we have to go through in this day and age, the size of organizations that we are working for, we deem it necessary to have tools that can test almost everything instead of trying to sample things that may not even give you the correct answer. So Halo, when you deploy it, can test the entire organization's journal within seconds. You just have to define the criteria you want to test. Maybe journals posted on a Sunday, journals posted by doc, journals that were corrected, journals with 2 comma, any criteria you give it. Once you define the criteria and you push it, it will give you all the exceptions in the organization. So we use this a lot for our work, and I find it very useful and thought I should share with you. So these are some of the data analytics and visualization tools we use in PwC. Then we have the generative AI and communication tools we use. We all know Chat GPT. We have Chat PwC. Chat PwC can answer any question you want about finance. Like I told you, we have Harvey, that is a PwC lawyer. It's an AI tool that reviews our contracts for us. I don't have it here. We have so many of them. I just picked a couple of them. But the difference between ChatGPT and Chat PwC is that Chat PwC doesn't hallucinate. You know, sometimes you look for something and it gives you all sort of information you don't even need. Chat PwC, it has been built on the history of all the PwC work we have done globally. So it takes information from within the organization. It guides you with the standards. It guides you with the various policies. And you can ask Chat PwC any question finance, and it will give you as close to accurate results as you would expect. Then we have Chat Assurance. It answers any audit question you want to talk about. If you are auditing fixed assets, for instance, PPE, and you decide you don't know the guidance around it, you just type it. Can you provide me guidance about PPE? It will tell you everything. If you want to know the standard around leases, it will tell you. If we even have a chat, a bot, an AI agent that does leases for us. So these are the new tools, and like I do, things are changing. If you don't have open mind, put me in this situation where I started with paper, and if I wasn't evolving, I would have been left behind by now. So you must have a very open mind, be daring to innovate, daring to be curious, learn new things, and that's the only way you can excel in today's corporate world. Then we have these OpenAIs that OpenAI Enterprise, that's a common one. I know a lot of you know. Then we have Microsoft 360 Copilot. We use Copilot a lot. We use it for a lot of document summaries, writing emails, writing memos, and all that, reports. Then we have our collaboration and communication tools. The three below, these three below are communication tools. So we have Microsoft Teams. That is why we don't use Zoom. Our official is Teams, Microsoft Teams. That's what we use to communicate with clients. We use it for internal meetings, emails, and all that. Then we have Connect. Connect is also another PwC tool. What it does, it links, it deploy Connect to the client, and the client doesn't have to give you any document um, in a paper form. They can only scan documents and put it in Connect. All their documents are sent through Connect. So I can receive the entire information I need from the client sitting in my office without going there and opening a file. It controls the audit from the beginning to the end. You send a request, the client upload the request. It tells the client what is outstanding. It generates a report to tell you when it was requested, when you submitted, what is outstanding, what has been validated, what is not validated. So it makes the system, the whole audit process very smooth and painless for clients and for ourselves. Then we have a whole lot of other digital suites that we use for our internal audit. So many of them I don't want to bother you about, but these are some of the applications we are currently using in PwC. Then we have some blockchain apps as well. We have smart credentials, another Hello, blockchain Hello to audit cryptocurrencies. Then we have PwC blockchain services. It helps provide blockchain. It helps provide blockchain tax filing. It does. It provides tax advisory services, especially when it comes to token-based funding. So it's a crypto AI agent that we designed for the crypto space. And these are just a few of them that I thought I should touch on them. I don't need to go into them into details. So all these tools and agents and AIs that I'm talking about, you wonder, how do we get our head around all this in an audit? Because one is running left, the other is running left and right and all that. But to help you, I've just summarized it on one page. And this is what we call tomorrow's audit today. So in PwC, we are constantly evolving. We still believe we are not where we want to be, even though we are still ahead of the game. But we have come up with a term which we call tomorrow's audit today for two reasons. One, to prepare ourselves, and two, to prepare our clients for tomorrow's audit. Because I'll be talking to you about our tomorrow's audit, our new audit tool that we'll be using from next year, which is the tomorrow's audit. We don't want to get there before we start dragging our clients along, which is why we've started using all these tools in bits and pieces so that the client is also prepared to migrate with us into that big tomorrow's audit. I'll take you through this briefly. The first one up here, you see, powered by PwC Audit and Workiva. I spoke to you earlier on about Audit, which is the tool we use for all our audit engagements globally, and Workiva for internal audit engagement. So audit starts from planning and it finishes at completion. So we have planning, we have field work and execution, and then we have reporting and completion. These are the three main phases of any audit. But before you get into detailed planning, you need to assess your risk and know what you are going to look at when you get to the client's office. Aura helps you from the beginning, from the risk assessment till you complete the visualization when you send reports. So we use Aura throughout the process from the beginning to the end. Then We use Copilot and Chat PwC also from the beginning to the end. When we are having planning, Copilot and Chat PwC, which are two AI agents, can help us assess the risk, assess the organization, the business environment. It looks at their history, their prior year financials, management reports. It looks at so many things within the organization, the entire organization's environment, and then identify all the risks that we are likely to face in that organization. That way, it frees us a lot of time to now think through, are these indeed the relevant risks, or we must eliminate some of them, or that we can rather do more tech work instead of spending time researching before coming up with this. So we use these two tools throughout the audit. At the planning stage, at the execution stage, we still use Chat PwC. Like I told you, we ask Chat PwC lots of questions to answer. You know the standard. People have soft copy, people have hard copies, they open it and refer to it. You only have to type it in and it pulls the relevant standard plus all the cross-referencing for you. So it makes the work efficient and even more fun to do. Then we have Connect and Microsoft Teams, which I spoke to you about. We also use it to manage the communication throughout the audit. The client provides their information on Connect. We use Microsoft to have our meetings, to do emails and stuff. So that also cuts across from beginning to the end. Then we use Power BI, mainly at the field stage. That's when we use Power BI a lot to analyze data. Then we have Data Sniper, AI Digi App, and Alteryx. All these are tools we use at the execution stage to do a lot of the work there. We use Power BI a bit for the reporting as well, just to give clients a feel of some of the data and then the writings in the report. So this is how it looks like overall when you take a pictorial look of how a PwC audit process goes, the tools we use, the software we use, and how we are able to add value to the client through the use of various softwares and apps in executing the audit. I did mention to you that we have our tomorrow's audit coming up, and that is why we've spent the past few years to develop all these apps in bits and pieces and to take our clients through the journey of forcing them to provide information and connect so that they are used to extracting data for us, so that they are used to putting things in a soft copy, because the next thing is our next generation audit. This is the future of audit. When we talk about AI and auditing, that is this page. This is how auditing is going to look at in the future. In the future, auditing is going to be human-led, tech-powered, and data-driven. People will lead the audits by instructing the technology what to do through the data we have fed into the system. And that is the only way this profession can sustain itself. PwC in 2023 invested $1 billion into developing the next generation audit, which is what we have here. And from 2026, we will start using next generation audit, NGA, they call it. How does the next generation audit work? Or what would the future of audit look like? One, the future of audit is going to look this way. The first thing is we must gather data. So any audit will start with data gathering, not just risk assessment. So one, you gather data through maybe the client's general ledger or their sub-ledgers. We will collate all the information in those ledgers. You gather all their transactional data, We gather all third-party data relating to the client, which AI will pull for us, and any data at all, whether it's structured or unstructured, we want that data. One will ask, how do you get all this rough, unstructured data, knowing that AI works on clean data? Okay. We use three means to gather this data, and this is how data will be gathered in the future through direct feeds, ingestion tools, and extraction tools. So we have developed so many injection and extractions tools that will launch on clients' systems to extract the data directly for us. Audit is not going to be done at the end of the year. It's real time. As you post a transaction, our injection tools pull the transaction, send it to our system, look at one, whether where you are even posting it is right, whether you've applied to the relevant accounting standards, if so, and all that, the disclosures, the measurement. So it's real time and flag exceptions for us. So that is the first thing. We collect the data through these injection tools. And once the data comes through these tools, they come in a structured manner into the system. So we transform the data into structured manner. Then we use our various tools, these tools that I have spoken to you about earlier on, to analyze the data. So we use Aura, which is the database we've always been using. We use the Microsoft platform, Copilot, and all that. We use the Halo platform, and we have, it says plus over 20 corporate apps. We've designed so many apps. Today, as we stand today, if I have to test revenue for a number of companies, I use predictive analytics. We have an AI agent that will test revenue for you. Unless it's super complex and we've not designed the agent in a way that it can test. We have so many bank reconciliation. We have AI agent that does bank reconciliation. So we've got so many apps that would then, once the data is structured, when I started, I told you one problem is data is unstructured, not connected. But through these tools, we bring all the data together here in a structured way. Then we use these tools to analyze them to provide insight. And most of these are AI and machine learning agents. So once you use that, then you move into the next generation audit, which is being able to provide clients with better insight of their business and to add value to what they're doing. So this is what the future of audit is looking like. And therefore, I thought you should be aware. You should see the picture and see where you fit in. Whether you are interested in working in an area where it will be data injection or the analytical part of it or the reporting part of it. So it's a whole chain, four main areas that the future of audit is going to look like. And I believe you can always fit yourself somewhere. And this is how some of the things I've just told you about our next generation audit. Okay, it's amazing. We have run a lot of pilots on that. We've done a couple of audits, small audits with that to see how it's going, and then we'll launch it fully next year. But talking about AI and audit and all that, we are not a tech company. It's a practicing firm. So you ask yourself, how are they developing all these tech apps and all that? And we have a giant tech department. But over and beyond that, we have partnered with Microsoft. And you know, when it comes to AI, Microsoft is way ahead of Google. So we have exclusive partnership with Microsoft, where we have access to their engineering team, and therefore we work with them to design apps. We have access to emerging technologies that they are working on, and we get a chance to work with them to roll them out and implement them on our client. And that is what is giving us an edge in the market. It's our exclusive partnership. Globally, there are only 10 organizations that have that exclusivity with Microsoft. We are one of those 10, but we are the only practicing firm in the world that has that right with Microsoft. So we have that security, that technical expertise, that tried and tested team of engineers working with us in developing apps. And what we give them back is the kind of feedback that when we try them, we get to enhance what they also do. So these are some of the things that is happening in the background that you may not be aware of. Direct benefit to our clients from the use of AI, I have spoken at length about it. I mean, we don't have to request for so many things because everything is seamless. The quality of the auditing is enhanced. We spend less time on repetitive work so that we focus the time on other areas. It wouldn't be much cheaper for the client because we have to pay for our technology costs. So even though costs may come down, it wouldn't be like because we are using technology, the fee is halved. Um, Communication is enhanced, so it becomes less stressful. And clients have the comfort knowing that we are using a very good technology to, to do their work and in a very safe environment through our partnership with Microsoft. So these are some of the benefits we foresee coming. Let me end this slide or this presentation by sharing with you some accolades we have achieved in the AI space. We've achieved so many accolades globally. Let me mention this one to you. International Data Corporation, we were adjudged as a leader in worldwide AI services. You can see Forrester ranked us as the leader in AI service providers. So we've won several awards globally, and we continue to pick awards because of the effort we continue to put in developing new applications to seek to address our clients' concerns and to make life better for ourselves and our workers. So this, in summary, is how audit is going to look at in future and some of the things you need to know before you get out of school. Whether you will be working as a finance CFO, finance director, finance manager, or in practice, it is worth knowing these things so that you prepare yourself when they come and you are able to deal with them because they are coming very soon. Thank you very much. And I'll open the floor for any question that you would want to ask.
Thank you very much, Prof. Mr. Ahen, you deserve to be called a professor. This is revealing and insightful. I have learned so much from this presentation. I don't know about the rest of us here, but I have learned so much. Thank you once again. Now, if you have questions, please keep them coming. Keep them coming. Mr. Ahin is here to answer all the questions for us. Whilst you were presenting, some people were asking their questions in the chat box.
All right, so we can take them.
Exactly. Somebody wants to know if they can get a slice. In fact, I assure them they will get.
Yeah, I've already shared it with Prof.
Prof, okay, so we'll share it right here before we all leave. Somebody wants to know what are some of the possible ways to overcome the gaps? When you were speaking, you talked of gaps in the market. So he was asking the possible ways he can use to overcome the gaps. That's somebody's question.
Okay. Is he referring to this slide? The gaps identified?
I believe so. Christian.
Okay.
If you can give us some clarification. But I want to believe it's that slide.
Yeah. There are numerous gaps, and it's a very extensive survey, I must be honest, to survey for 24,600 workers in 27 countries. It's a fair reflection of the reality. And like I said, when I was walking you through these things, at any point, I try to tell you what to do. For instance, if you take resistance to change, please open your mind. Don't be an accountant. Accountants are close-minded. Be somebody who is curious, want to learn. That way, you are able to take on new things. Digital fluency, like I told you, start working with Excel, PowerPoint, and Power BI, those basic ones, so that by the time you get out of school, you're a bit fluent with use of data. You'll be faced with significant data because the world is complex now. So the volume of information is no joke. So start getting comfortable with data. If you are comfortable with data today, I can guarantee you stand way better to succeed in the corporate world. So these are some of the things that there's no one solution,
Please mute yourselves.
but it is important to know. Let's take cybersecurity ethical awareness. I say to people that when you graduate from school and you go to the corporate world, you get into the corporate world, don't worry about money because it is not your hard work or your qualifications that will earn you money.
Well, kindly unmute yourself. I've asked you to unmute. Bro, please unmute.
Okay,
Good. Thanks.
is it unmuted?
Yes, please.
Okay, I don't even know where I got to. But I was saying that when you take ethical AI awareness, for instance, I keep telling people that when you get out of school, don't focus on money. Okay, focus on developing your skills. You need character before competence, not competence before character. Just develop your skills. It is the skills that will give you money. When you get out and you want to make money quickly, that's when sometimes you begin to cut corners and you begin to compromise ethically. So please, as one key advice, focus on competence, and competence will give you money. Skills will give you money. Skills will earn you way more than that's why you have in a construction world, the person carrying the concrete earns less than the foreman directing him because he has skills, the guy carrying in the corporate world. That's why sometimes you feel you work harder than your bosses. They have skills you don't have. So once you develop those skills, the world is will be at your beck and call. So all these challenges or these gaps have various forms of means of addressing them. It's not a one size fits all, but it's worth knowing and then thinking through what you need to do. I've just mentioned a few of them and what you can do to address them.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think to add to that, when you were speaking, you made mention of the gaps. You said people are resistant to change, there is limited digital literacy, insufficient AI literacy. So since these are the challenges, I think we should work on ourselves, right? People are
Yes.
resistant to change. So why don't you face it? Why don't you face change? When you face it, when you are ready to embrace it, then you get an advantage over the others who are resistant to it. And also, there is limited digital literacy. Why don't you take advantage and then get some knowledge there? And then AI literacy too. Why don't you get some knowledge there? Why don't you get some education there to better yourself? So I think that's what Mr. Ahin was trying to tell us.
Yeah,
Good.
exactly. And we do courses. Sometimes we provide AI literacy. We just had one course on training executives on AI.
Good.
So in the PwC Business School. So look out. There's always help. Shout. Prof is there, doc is there. Even if you don't have guy anywhere, you tell them, they'll find a way. They'll talk to us. We'll find a way to find you help. So don't wait till you get out. It may be too late.
Thank you, Doc. Mr. Ahin, please, I have a question.
Let's go.
Listening to your presentation, it seems AI is doing almost everything. Auditors do. AI is doing
Yeah.
almost everything accountants do. So is it still relevant to study accountants in school to major in accounting? Is it still relevant because AI is doing almost everything?
That's interesting. Before we delved into this AI era, SEMA engaged myself and a couple of others to look at the course they are rendering and see whether it's still relevant in the corporate world. And in the past, if you remember, um, the corporate hierarchy is structured this way. You start from the bottom where you recruit a lot of people, and as they go along, it reduces, and then the top is small. So in an organization, you have the CEO here, and then a lot of people at the bottom, and then now what happened at that time, we realized that the structure has changed. It is now like this. How do I draw this? Hold on. The structure has changed and the bottom is smaller and this side is rather bigger and it goes like this. So that the number of people you need at the bottom reduced and then the middle management got bigger and then smaller at the top. And the reason the middle management got bigger because we were then beginning to see AI to chop off some of the basic repetitive work. The question is you design courses so that you equip people not to come here. If the outcome of our education is to bring you here, then indeed there's no need to be doing all that you are doing. That is why strategic thinking, tactical learning, and that is why your facilitators, your lecturers are organizing this course to make you aware or to make them aware that they need skills at this level to help them analyze what the AI will do at this level. So it is still very relevant, but its relevance has changed depending on the level you come in. If you are graduating from school with the mindset that you are going to come and start and learn on the job, most of the things you would have learned has now been taken over. So we need strategic thinkers. We need people who now direct the AI agents. Sit back and say, okay, I want you to look at this. Can you change it to this? If you are doing this way, what will it be? So that analytical and what if analysis that the AI cannot do itself is what now we need people to do. So yes, it's still relevant to study this course because at the end of the day, the future audit is still human-led, tech-powered, and data-driven. You cannot take the human element out because that's where all the judgment, and I did mention about the increasing need for expertise because we don't want you to be very basic. We want you to be knowledgeable in finance, legal, operational matters, such that adding the insights that the AI brings, you can provide the right direction. So the course is still very relevant.
Thank you very much. A follow-up question to that. Does this AI, does it always give us the right, correct information? How do we use AI responsibly? Do you just take the response you get from AI? How do we use it responsibly?
Ethical AI awareness. It talks about responsibility, using AI responsibly. In terms of whether it gives you the correct answer or not, I can talk about chat PwC that it gives you 100% answer. And the only reason I can talk about that is because it does not hallucinate. It's based on facts, history of what has happened, and it's internal. If you ask me about chat GPT, I'll say that I cannot tell 100%. Sometimes you see research done that is put some all sort of information, and it's because it's hallucinating. It's picking all sort of random information, and that is where human being comes in. You don't just pick it and leave it. You must now think through what is giving you, whether it makes sense, and redirect it if not. So that is where using it ethically comes in. That is not where you don't just go to AI, pick something, and send to the client without looking at it, analyzing it yourself to make sure it makes sense. To do all the dirty work for you, to do all the volume. For instance, we have a client that will have maybe 30 board meetings in a year, various board meetings, various discussions. To go through all that is very difficult. But to use AI, it will pick all the salient points for you. Then some of the time you realize that it has repeated some of the points because they were discussed severally. Some it has even worded it in a way that doesn't really make sense. And that's where human intervention comes in. When you fail to do those, then you are not being responsible.
Thank you. Somebody has asked a similar question. He says that AI is a beautiful revelation. However, it doesn't give 100% assurance. My question is, how do you cover these gaps in terms of mistakes it generates? I think it's similar to what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why it's human led. So you must always make sure it makes sense. And if it doesn't, you re-instruct it. Maybe you change the parameters.
Great. Thank you. At this point, please, if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand, use the emojis to raise your hands. We'll ask you to unmute and then you ask your question. So please, you can raise your hand and then ask your question. If you have anything bothering you, you can ask. And somebody want me to ask this. Say, how can a student with limited technical backgrounds begin to build competence in AI and data analytics? What's the starting point?
Yeah, I mean, we all started from somewhere. And so the starting point, I've always said Excel is an amazing tool. I don't know why sometimes I tell people, look, after your MBA, hold on. When you are working, don't go and do any other course or do all your courses in Excel. The reason is it teaches you, should I say programming, structured way of thinking to generate certain results. And that's all AI is about. So you can start with basic tools like Excel, advance it into advanced Excel, go into Alteryx. Okay. So, and there are a lot of tutorials online to learn from. So don't, you see, when you see it as a monster, you will never start. Chip it small by small, little by little. Okay. Even if in a week you learn something new, one new thing, gradually you gain the confidence to now deal with bigger things. When we roll out new AI agents, there are trainings for us. Nobody knows. Then you will get somebody to train you for one day and you get to use it. As you use it, you learn more about it. So practice makes man perfect. So start with the basic tools before you get into the big ones. If I give you one of our AI agents, I know you struggle because it's pretty complicated. But look, it's just like playing a game. Put this here, move this here. And Doc, let them start with Copilot. Copilot, I think, is free with Microsoft. From today, any email you write, when you finish writing the email, copy it, go to Copilot and write, can you please rewrite this email for me? Enter and paste the email. It will rewrite everything for you. Then you read through it. You get to see how it behaves. You get to see where it puts dash and the reason why dash is there. Okay. Then you can advance to the next stage. You want to write board minutes. You go to Copilot. Can you do this for me? Then you can even do it yourself and Copilot. Then you see the gap. So it's a gradual process. then you master the art. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Evans, I've asked you to unmute, so please ask your question. Unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right,
Okay.
thank you very much. I want to know the exact way, maybe you can prompt AI to give you the correct information that you need.
Okay, so AI is garbage in, garbage out. Okay. If you go to Copilot, for instance, I'm using an email because it's a very basic tool. And you type an email and you paste it into Copilot and you enter. It will start answering questions about your email for you. Meanwhile, you want it to rewrite the email nicely for you. So before you do that, you must tell it, can you please rewrite this email for me? It will say, right, please bring it. I'll write it for you. Then you paste it. Then it gives you the right answer. So yeah, if you're unable, and this is why the human leading it must be smart. If you're unable to direct it, what you give it, it will take a result that is not the desired result. So you need to direct it. And that's the only time when, if you're unable to give it the right direction and instructions, guaranteed you won't get what you are looking for.
Thank you. Somebody wants to know how students can differentiate themselves when they are applying to firms like PwC. How can they differentiate themselves in such a competitive market?
If they want to get into PwC, how they should differentiate themselves to be able to get through, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so one interesting thing is in PwC, we don't recruit just accountants. We have engineers, we have doctors, we have actuaries, we have lawyers, anything at all you do in this world. If you are interested in doing PwC, we have medical doctors. If you want to join PwC, apply. And I'll tell you how to differentiate yourself. But we do that because we believe in diversity. The more diverse views you have in the room, the better the thinking and the results. And we also believe in ourselves that irrespective of what you did, we can train you. So we open the door for everyone to be able to apply. When you apply, the only area you may have to distinguish yourself is when you come for interviews. Because when you apply, it's online, there is no discrimination. We consider all the applications. Then you do a short online assessment. The assessment is a non-verbal reasoning assessment kind of. Once you cross the cutoff point, now it's time for you to distinguish yourself. So when you are applying, make sure that you have a very good CV that will let us shortlist your CV to write the assessment. We don't discriminate on age, but the work we do, if you don't have any experience at all and you are 45 years old and you join PwC, trust me, you'll be working under 25-year-olds or 20-year-olds because you have a lot of young, smart people and it may get uncomfortable. So sometimes we will call you and tell you this is the situation. People may not want it. But if you are able to get through the application online, which there is no right or wrong answer, then now you must distinguish yourself. And that is done through the various interviews we do. The number one thing we are looking at for is trainability. If you haven't been told before, I'm revealing the secret to you. We don't really matter about whether you made 20 A's or 50 B's, so long as you didn't make a lower. We want to make sure that you can be trained. You have the trait of somebody who is willing to learn, who is agile in terms of when you bring them, they'll be a good team player, but above all, you can transform them to the way you want to mold them as a PwC material. And that's the secret we look out for. So in your research, in your response to questions, in answering interview questions, come across as somebody who wants the job and is willing to learn and is open-minded to new things. and you will get through. There's no secret. Whether you are qualified or all those things don't really matter. You can come up for an interview with somebody who is qualified. I will take you and leave that person. Based on the interaction, if we feel this guy is somebody who can learn very quickly and is willing to learn and is smart, we'll take you. And that's a key factor we look out for.
Thank you, sir. Another question from Francis Appiah. What advice will you give our institutions in Ghana with regards to adoption of AI in our academic program? This is coming from Francis. Prof. K.O. Appiah is here, so he's taking.
Prof, maybe you will help me, but I think one is it's very important that AI is adopted into our educational system, because when I look back, way back when I did my MBA, we were using quite a lot of tools, simulation tools that help you. I mean, I wrote a piece of article on the use of organizational politics as a strategic tool to strategy implementation. And I thought about that through business school simulations and AIs we do, because when you're in an organization, you think, oh, politics is a bad thing, it's not good. It's not good. But there are certain strategies that you need to implement, that you need a bit of organizational policy to see it through. So you need some form of simulation, some AI tools to get your people ready. But I don't know how we are able to finance that, whether the government is willing to do that, whether the universities themselves are willing. But one thing I can assure you is, if universities approach institutions like PwC and they speak about AI, they will get a support because of our keen interest in those spaces. Either one, to come and provide free training. I can bring our AI team in Ghana or our tech team in Ghana to give a whole one-day tech training to MBA students for free. That's our investment in society. It's all part of, even if you don't have the tool, we are supporting them to get ready for the future. And so not just having those AI tools, but which can be very expensive. I told you we invested $1 billion in developing just next gen. How many organizations can afford $1 billion? So they come at a cost. But if the tools are not there, but the faculty is able to get people who can do hands-on training, Power BI, they can train you in Power BI, Alteryx. Our tech team can come and do an Alteryx training. Then it gives you a start to also start practicing and be a bit familiar with those things before you get out of school. And those are the kind of things that we corporate world can do to help.
Thank you. In response to that, I don't know if Prof. K.O. has something to add. Prof. K.O.
Okay, thank you very much, George. Very insightful. When you see, I was even expecting 200 and more students. And as you can see, we started with 67 and we are revolving around 91. Most of the things that you see us do, you see us being master of. They are not things that we sat in a classroom for us to be taught. And George will testify to that fact. They are not things that they taught us for us to write exams and get marks. But we have a generation of students, sorry to say, if marks is not attached to it, it's another story. So that's one of the problems we are having now. These have been earmarked to equip you for you to be able to get the knowledge and to be able to move on. And we keep on doing, we did Power BI. Is it a month ago? That was the last one we did before you. We did Panacea. We have been doing it. But whenever I go and I look at the attendance, like Power BI, we were expecting over 200. I went there and they were around 120. So it has already been incorporated. We have a whole center where they are into AI just across the street. There's a center and they have a special name. They are into just AI. All what you need to do is to walk there and enroll on their courses. And these are some of the things that we were doing when we were in school. You identify a gap within the curriculum you are being taught. But then within the university, it's being done. It's being run as a seminar. It's being run as a workshop. It's being run, and they are all free. But it's sad, we have students who ask you, what marks is it coming with? So that mindset will be so, like, I like the way you hammered on the fact that the major gap is for us to be able to, I wrote it down, where people are not ready to change. We have put the systems, but are the people ready to change? It's a conversation we'll keep on talking about. And some of us have started, and we will, like Kwame Nkrumah did, a time will come where we pray that the whole system, we have trained faculty on how to use Copilot. We have trained faculty on the chat GPT, AI prompts, among others. We started with faculty, and we have started with the students level. But then the student is asking, what marks is it attached to? George, let me leave it here.
Thank you, Prof.
Thanks, Prof. Doc, I think Prof has nailed it. And students, let me advise you. Where we are today is not just what we learned in school. I was talking to my daughter who is in uni the other day, and I told her, look, I don't need you to be first. It's not about the marks. It's about understanding what you are doing, developing the right character and right attitude to life. Because in the corporate world, that's what will take you. He just spoke about people not willing to change, to do the right things and wanting marks. When I spoke to you about how to get to PwC, I said trainability. Trainability is about change. So in assessing you, we want to know, is this person somebody who is able to learn? If you are not open to change, you can't learn. So, and the courses we do in school, they're running around, you want first class, all those numerous courses, is to develop that discipline. So we are able to see it very quickly when you come around. And if you are not disciplined, your competence will get you through the door, but your character will get you out. So please, let's take these things seriously, because I mean, if all these things are being done, you shouldn't be where you are and asking this question today that, how do you get that guy? Because all those are available, but you've not taken advantage of it. And don't leave campus with regrets. If you don't make use of it, the day you graduate, that door is shut. And you look back and said, had I known. Okay, we learned a lot of things on the job, but the basics. I remember when I was in Legon, we were learning Kobo, Fortrans, with a typewriter. Okay, but when you got a job, at least you knew how to run the keyboard. So it helps. Nothing learned is in vain. All right, thanks, Doc.
Thank you once again, Mr. Ahin. Somebody is asking again. It seems we are now ready to learn because somebody is asking again, what are some of the simple AI tools you can prescribe to us that we can use to improve our skills? So they are now asking for, you've already mentioned it, but they are asking for it again. So it means, Prof. K, it means they are ready to change. They are asking for the basic ones to start with. So please, if you could go over it again, remember Copilot.
So let me try and answer that question.
Okay.
Not to disrespect anybody, I asked my daughters, you need to learn how to cook. One is 12, one is 14, and they just laughed at me. And I asked, why are you laughing at me? Oh, sorry, one is 15, one is 13. They just laughed at me. They said, Daddy, we should learn how to cook. You just let us list the materials for you, the ingredients. You buy it, we'll cook it for you. And I said, how? Then they kept on smiling. They said, Chat GPT, of course. It will teach us how to cook. And
That's
she's just 12 years. She's just 13 years. 13 years. 13 years. 13 years. He says, Daddy, will you buy the ingredients? Once you buy the ingredients, like Coursera will give you an opportunity to have a free trial for courses for the first 8 days. That you yourself, you identify a gap and you begin to fill it. So you can start with ChatGPT, is free. You can start with Copilot. The university gave you an email address and it's coming from Microsoft, and built in there is Copilot. There's a deep search. There is what again? But the most popular one has been the ChatGPT, which you can use as a start. And nowadays too, YouTube will provide us with a lot of avenues and materials to learn. Just yesterday, I met somebody with the earpiece in the ear, and then I asked, "What are you listening to?" And the person said he's listening to a pastor's preaching whilst he was about to go to the exam. So I said, "You see, when we were learning at London College of Accountancy, when you see me with that earpiece, I'm listening to a CD from EPP on the course I'm doing. So what I was expecting you is that you will be listening to a YouTube on the course you are even going to do, the topic you are going to do. But that is not what we see. But rather, you have a university student going to write and is listening to a pastor for the pastor to give a motivational talk so that he will pass financial reporting. How? So if you see, we are what we are. Let me put it in context. In the Ghanaian context, we always say we are what we are by the grace of God. But trust me, the grace alone cannot take you there. Your ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And most of the things that we are teaching you, nobody taught us. They only gave us the basis like we are doing today. And you build on, you build on, you build on. Start with Chat GPT, start with Copilot, start with Deep Search, and we are good to go.
Yeah.
You can go to YouTube and ask YouTube, give me the list of AI tools that I need. And I said, when you keep on learning, you'll be a master. Like George was talking about the minis. Now I have a document. I wanted to contribute on the responsible use Whenever AI gives you output, you are supposed to evaluate it. In the last exams I gave to the students to do, I went to Chat GPT, having written the study guide for them to learn. And I asked Copilot to give me, to rewrite, like you were saying, to make it more professional and make it short and make it so look more professional. And when it was rewriting it, it ended up giving a sample question. And I evaluated it and I look at the sample question, and the sample question was part of the questions. So I always tell you in class that in life, you succeed with three things. One is application of common sense, not just common sense, application of common sense. Number two is expertise. Number two is expertise. And then number three, having applied the common sense, having used the expertise, I wish one of my students would tell me the third layer that you need to succeed in life. Is there anybody? Anybody? Whenever I come to class, I always tell you that everything you are about to handle in life is about three things: expertise, application of common sense. You can drop it in the chat room, we'll pick it. Just want to see, now that you have graduated, whether you are going to PwC with those three pillars. And I told you that once you are using those three pillars, wherever you go, you succeed. Expertise, application of common sense, and experience. And experience. And as you can see, when George was talking to you, you have to evaluate the output from Copilot. You have to evaluate the output from ChatGPT, and you can only do that with expertise, with experience, and then application of common sense. I've made it clear to you that God created all of us, so we have common sense because we were created in the image of God. But the difference is the application of common sense. The more I can apply my expertise, my experience, and my common sense, the higher I will go in the strategic decision making space. And like you see, AI has come, and AI is coming to take over some of the routine jobs we do as accountants. So in my next research, I'm going to take ICA questions right from the first level to the last and give it to AI to solve. And we'll be able to pinpoint specifically the tasks that AI will kick the accountant off. So what is the story here? Whatever ChatGPT will give to you, whatever Copilot will give to you, you need to evaluate it. And in
Okay, well, unfortunately,
the
we
study
can't
guide
hear
I
you.
gave to you, the study guide I gave to you will have included. Okay, madam, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you so much. So, Prof is telling us that we already have it here. We already have it. Just that we do it in seminars in the form of webinars. Okay, so we already have it here with us. So anytime we call on you, students, please don't hesitate. Yes. All right, thank you very much. So, Prof, Mr. Ahen, I will take your final word, but before that, I want to give a little summary of what you've given us today, a little summary of it. Prof. Kewo, can you please share the slides in the chat box? If you can hear me, Prof. K,
Okay,
so
okay, I
that
will.
every
Thank you.
participant will have access to it. So we
Okay,
have learned
before the
today that in future, AI is going to be integral in every business strategy. So the future is AI. So we have been admonished today to take advantage. We shouldn't be left behind at all. Even as auditors, as accountants, we shouldn't be left behind in any way. And the speaker also made us aware of some challenges in the current audit profession, such as the fact that auditing is heavily reliant on manual interventions, data is not connected, and many other more challenges. And he tells us that AI comes in to help solve these challenges. So AI is seen as a means to enhance audit quality and then value. And how is AI doing this? He's giving us the practical way, practical step that AI is doing this for us. AI will help auditors or auditing firm to understand their clients or the business that they are auditing. Understanding them will help you to provide enhanced scoping or risk assessment, early risk detection, and many other ways, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to give quality reports, quality reporting that will benefit all stakeholders. The speaker was passionate about the gaps in the market today. He was so passionate about that very slide. He made us aware of some of the gaps. The fact that people are resistant to change, the fact that there is limited digital literacy, the fact that there is insufficient AI literacy, there is weak data analytics. All these are challenges out there. There are gaps out there. And he was telling us that we can take advantage of it as we go out there. We can take advantage. So know the gaps, know the problems, and then position yourself well, okay, for these gaps. In that case, you become relevant as you go out there. He's giving us practical steps that we can use. And also, he told us that in future, auditing will be human-led, tech-powered, and then data-driven. So although AI, yes, is important, but that human element will be needed, and that is you. That is why you have to develop yourself, upgrade yourself, so that you will be there for that human element. The few people that will be required, will be needed, it will be you. So you have to position yourself, develop yourself very well. And then also about some of the tools, AI tools that we can start with. He mentioned Copilot, Prof. Kewo have also added Deep Search, and many more. He mentioned Excel. Excel is a basic tool. He said you can start with Excel. You learn a lot. Online tutorials. So start learning on your own. When you go to YouTube, anything you want to know in this world, you can get it from YouTube, Google, and now these AI, Gen AIs and all that. So go there and start learning something today. It will help you out there. And one remarkable statement that he gave, I always tell my students in class, so I was glad when I heard him saying that after school, focus on developing yourself. Focus on developing your skills. Don't chase money. My students will attest to this fact. I always tell them, as you go out there, don't chase money. Be willing to even work for free just to get a skill, just to get the experience. I always tell my students that after so you can go to this auditing and tell them, I want the experience. I'm ready to work for free. I tell them, and he is coming from the industry. Look at his profile, such a big man, and he's also telling you the same thing. Be ready to work for free, be willing to work for free just to get a skill, just to get the experience. And after that, money will chase you because money will chase your competence. The money will chase your skills. All right. So I think these are the few things I was able to pen. So please, your final remarks, and then Prof. K will give us the closing remarks and we'll be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. I think you are not a doctor. You're a doctor not by chance. You're a doctor for a good reason because you have really, really captured everything I said, and I'm highly impressed about your summary. So thanks for that. Folks, We are in this together. I believe today has given tomorrow a lot to look up to. We have learned something today. I always try to come home with such things because remember that where we are today, we didn't get there by chance. We were once in the same shoe you are, but we took things seriously. And if you will do the same, I can give you all the assurance you will go further than what all of us have reached. So please, start now. Like I said, today has given tomorrow a lot to look up to. At least be late than never. Start now, do something, little steps, and you will get to your destination. I thank you very much for your time today, for your gift of time. It's been amazing speaking to you all. And Doc, Prof, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to talk to your staff, to talk to your students. And I hope that if anything at all, they will remember one thing this day that they will live with in their careers. We look forward to welcoming you into the world and supporting you in any way we can to make you succeed. I always go back to look for my teachers and my lecturers because I owe it to them. And the other day, I went all the way to Winneba to go and look for one of my teachers who has moved there. She's in her late 70s. So, look, they are shaping your future. Take it seriously. And when you make it one day, don't forget about them because they play a key role in our lives. Thank you very much, Prof. and Doc. And Tim, folks, thank you so much again. I look forward to engaging you again somehow, somewhere. One day we will cross paths again. Thank you very much. Prof,
Thank,
back to you.
thank you too. Prof. Apia, please, your final remarks.
Okay. Very grateful. At least we have 86 people, inclusive of the three of us, who are ready to add value, increase productivity, and also ensure quality for whatever they find their hands doing. If there is any take home for the university, it's time we have a partnership, collaboration, or affiliation, whatever that PwC deems appropriate with PwC so that we can take this conversation further. So, George, that is between KNUST and PwC. Looking forward to take this conversation further so that our students will be enlightened and get hands-on training within the AI space, given the vast experience your firm have attained over the years. We as students, if there is anything for us to learn and take home, it's about developing our skills and our character, putting skills and character first. And when skills and character have been developed, then here, if I'm to come out with a memory verse, I will say, seek ye first skills and character, and all other things shall be added. But in the context of what we have learned, I will say, seek ye first AI, and all other things will be added. But then use AI in a more responsible way so that you end up not just getting certificate for certificate's sake, but you will be a graduate who can fix in the mid-level and push to the strategic level. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you. Once
you.
again, okay.
Right.
I want to, on behalf of all the participants, I want to thank Mr. Ahin. for making time to talk to us today, for allowing us to tap into your expertise. We've learned so much. We are all attesting to the fact that your presentation have really been revealing, very insightful. We've learned so much from it, and we promise you we are going to apply everything you've said to us today. We thank you so much, and we hope to call on you again. The Department of Accounting and Finance and the entire KMSC hope to call on you again in future for other collaborations. And then I also want to thank the Department of Accounting and Finance, headed by Prof. K.O. Apia, to have brought such a webinar, a program up to help students. Prof, and the entire team, we thank you so much. Now, we want to thank you, our students, all participants who made it to be here. We thank you for making time to come and listen to our resource person and to all of us. Thank you for coming. And we believe that everything you've learned or you've gathered from this presentation, you are going to apply it. Thank you so much. Please look forward to other webinars. As Prof. K.O. indicated, we've done some in the past, and we look forward to bringing your way other impactful seminars. So please look forward to it. Thank you to everybody for being here. Once again, have a good evening. So on that
Thank you
note,
very much.
on that note, I think unless Mr. Ahin or Prof has something to add, and that will be it. We'll come to the end of our webinar.
You fail to thank yourself.
Hey, Prof.
All right. Thank you. Nothing from me but to say thanks for doing this for your students.
It's welcome. All right.
Bye.
So on that
Thank you.
note, we'll end here. It's a bye-bye. So everyone, enjoy your evening.
Bye.